Yo, what is going on? PartTimerZack here, and in today's video I wanted to talk about this Jujutsu Kaisen mobile game. It's supposed to be a gacha game that is coming out in the near future. They haven't had an official release date, but they did say that they're going to talk in the next couple months about some different things. I'm guessing some sort of gameplay, maybe see what it's all about, but it is going to be a gacha-esque type of game. From what we can kind of see, this was featured in the back of a shonen magazine, so it's not some random leak or something like that. It is official and it is coming in the near future. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and kind of get a good idea of what we're looking at. So it does say RPG, and that gives me an idea that it's going to be more like the strongest hero than, you know, Ultra Impact or Dokkan or something like that. But then you see these pictures down here, and it makes me think that maybe this is the character art and that you're actually going to be summoning for, like, you know, art and stuff like that. And it's going to be more like Dokkan and that aspect of it. But this could just be saying, hey, these are the characters obviously going to be in the game. You know, these are obviously popular characters in the anime. So it's kind of just saying, here's some of your favorite characters and stuff like that. Let's show them off. And it is going to be coming to iOS and Android, obviously, because it is a mobile game. But I don't really know too much about the gameplay. Obviously, we're going to be taking a look at the developers and kind of seeing what they do, because this is a newer type of developer, and a lot of people are kind of scared about what that kind of means for this. Obviously, it's a huge name. Jujutsu Kaisen seems to be very popular, especially over here in the West and stuff like that. So I don't think a global would be that far off. Obviously, we're looking at more of a JP Taiwan side of the game, but I don't imagine that a global would be that far off. But I thought it would be cool to kind of talk about it and kind of get an interesting take on it. So let's go ahead and check out the developer here. So here's one of the games that I actually was able to find. So this is Zap. This is the actual developer, and here's some of their games. So this game isn't actually out yet. As you can kind of see, they have a couple different games, and as you kind of go into the earlier stages, you can tell that they weren't as fleshed out. Like, we can take a look at this game if it'll actually let me into it. Okay, it actually does. So you can actually see that it's not that well fleshed out, and it seems to be a little bit more, I don't know what you call it, like card based. And then this is the actual one that has my eye. So this is the one that I think is really cool, but it doesn't exactly have a release date from what I understand, or it's not exactly out. It might already have a release date. Yeah, it says summer 2021. So this one's actually going to be coming out here soon, but I wanted to take a look at it just to get an idea of what type of game this is going to be. So we'll watch about like a minute of this. I think I already kind of went over this a little bit and skimmed through it to see what was worth it. So I think the art style of this looks really good, but it kind of reminds me more of like a Counter-Side kind of game, where it just kind of shows the art style and a little bit of a transition thing behind it. And it's not like a full fleshed out, like moving type of stuff. So the character design in this game specifically is actually really good. So it has high hopes for Jujutsu Kaisen. Obviously, they don't really have to design characters because they're all fleshed out from the anime, but you know, having good design and stuff like that really does help out with, you know, other aspects of the game and stuff like that. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to check this out. We'll kind of skim through it because it kind of picks up a little bit towards the end here. But like I said, it kind of reminds me more of a Counter-Side type of thing. So I don't know if it's going to be like turn-based or if it's going to be more, I don't know. I have one screenshot down here that I was able to see that kind of showed off the gameplay, or at least what the gameplay would look like. I wasn't able to find a video because obviously the game isn't out yet, unfortunately, and it doesn't look like they have a gameplay video. But as you can kind of see, I like the art style. I think they do really well. So I'm not too harsh on it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, it's a big name. Jujutsu Kaisen's huge, but you know, hey, you got to be a little bit more trustworthy. You got to be a little bit more positive, right? So obviously you can kind of see these are what seem to be like cutscenes. Like I said, it is a little bit more counter-sided where, you know, they're talking, you just have a little still image or something like that. Maybe they're moving back and forth to the still image, but here's the kind of spot I wanted to show you. So as you can see, here's a render of that, but here's what looks like to be the gameplay. And as you can kind of tell, it kind of looks like more of a turn-based type of thing. Obviously, this doesn't mean anything for the Jujutsu Kaisen thing. That could be a completely different play style, but I just wanted to take a look and kind of see what kind of games they make. And it looks more or less like I said, where it's just kind of like a 2D image and you're taking turns kind of fighting, and you have some different abilities and stuff like that off to the side. So that kind of makes me a little bit worried about the kind of gameplay, because Jujutsu Kaisen would probably be more better as the, you know, the strongest hero type of game rather than this type of turn-based type of stuff. But you know, if it's their first game or whatever, I guess it's not the end of the world. I just hope they didn't just throw out, because a lot of the people who make the animes and stuff like that, the popular animes, they kind of just give it to the first person that asks, and they're just like, okay, whatever, make a game out of it, go big or go home. And then it ends up kind of being not so good. But we can check out another game just real quick here. So that's the one that hasn't came out yet. Let me go back to their page here and see if I can't grab one of these other games. So this is another game. So let's go ahead and grab this one, and we'll just kind of look through this. I get the feeling that this is an anime already. I vaguely remember seeing something like this. So let's see if I can't find some gameplay here. So obviously it does kind of look like what I was saying with the Counter-Side thing, where they have a little bit of a spot here where they're just sitting there talking. Let me kind of zoom in over here, where they're just kind of sitting there talking or whatever. And then this is the gameplay of this game. So it is, again, like a little bit more turn-based. I guess I would say a little bit more like Ultra Impact, where you're just kind of taking turns. You have a little bit of an ability, and you're able to kind of do it. Although this one is more in a what looks like to be a 3D or a 2D format, whereas Ultra Impact is in a 3D format. So I'm not necessarily sure if they'll translate that, you know, or if it's just going to look like the side scrolling type of thing. Honestly, I don't really want it to be this type of game. I would rather just be more like Ultra Impact, where it's, you know, a little bit 3D and a little bit like that, but I don't mind the simplicity of it. And I honestly don't mind taking turns with attacks and stuff like that. That's not that bad of a gameplay, but I know it's going to turn a lot of people off. Of course, this isn't final. This isn't to say that Jujutsu Kaisen is going to look like this or anything like that. It's just speculation off the fact that these are the types of games that they've made. So I'm just kind of getting a good idea of like, maybe that's what they make. Maybe that's what they don't make. I'm not necessarily sure, because again, they don't have a lot of gameplay going on, but I'm guessing we'll get something in the next couple of months. I just kind of wanted to talk about it, see what you guys thought about it, and see if, you know, maybe we need something like this. Maybe you're like, whatever, we don't need any more gacha games. Let me know down in the comments. We'll definitely have a conversation about it. But anyway, guys, we'll be covering this as it kind of progresses, obviously. But anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Peace.